Let's kick off the showcase. I'd like to introduce Allan Jones, the CEO of the Allen Institute, to give an overview of the organization.
Thanks, and welcome. Let's see here. Slides up. There we go. Big open science. OK, I wanted to carry on the applause for the organizing committee and team here. So I have to say it's wonderful as the CEO and leader of this organization to see all of this come together and not really have to do anything other than to watch it all happen and really enjoy it. And so I'm really looking forward to these next 2 days, probably more than anyone else in this room. So let me jump in and talk briefly about the Allen Institute. And I'll keep this very short because I want us to get on to the fun science that's going on here. A little bit about Allen Institute in the numbers. So we are the broader Allen Institute. Is comprised of the Allen Institute for Brain Science, the Allen Institute for Cell Science, and the Paul G. Allen Frontiers Group. The Allen Institute for Brain Science is the oldest sibling. We were started in 2003. And roughly, if you think about the administrative support, this is about 325 employees and $85 million annual budget. Okay? The Allen Institute for Cell Science is the younger sibling, established in 2014, but is growing very quickly and has had about a $25 million annual budget. And then finally, the Paul G. Allen Frontiers Group, which was established in 2015, is supporting external science at the frontiers. And it has an annual budget of about $25 million. Okay. So what we do, broadly speaking, and you'll see if you've followed the Allen Institute over the years, we think we do things a bit differently here. I hope that spending the next couple of days, you'll see the elements of our culture that we imbue here. But it's basically going after hard problems in biology. Our founder really is attracted to these ideas of complexity in biology and understanding that complexity in some way. And we try to tackle foundational basic science problems. We do this through 3 core tenets, which I think you'll hear a lot about and are featured in the next couple of days. Big science, we try to go after big problems, things that couldn't be done in a traditional academic setting. We do this with a team science approach. And then finally, we do this with an open science approach, where we try to share as much of our reagents, our know-how, our knowledge, our data as freely as we can. Ultimately, creating these foundational sets of tools, knowledge, and data. So big science, I love this slide because it highlights a lot of things that have to come together to do the kinds of things we do here. Everything from custom equipment that all has to be assembled, but not just one, and like you would find in a traditional academic lab, but we have multiple of these going on. We have folks who are very carefully collecting data that we feel is going to stand the test of time. It's going to be high quality, reproducible data. Remember that just even orchestrating all this in this particular thing is the electrophysiology. So we start with transgenic animals. So we have our whole transgenic core that has to do this. There's surgeries that have to happen to get the tissue. We then have to do the recording. Someone had to write all the software to have all these machines talk to the databases. We then extract all of that data. Ultimately, we're mining that data, and we're also putting that data out on the web for everyone to use. So you can imagine the full complement of skill sets required for just being able to do this on this big science level. And so how do we do that? We do that with teams. This is our team science approach. This is, again, I also love this slide. As I said, there's probably about 425 people that work at the Institute. An amazingly talented group of women and men from around the world. And it's a real pleasure. There's 150 different PhDs. I think one time we counted there's 40 different disciplines all working together on these common big goals. And I'm in here somewhere. See if you can find me. Can you find me? I'm in here. Where's Waldo? Finally, open science. So I like to say we were open science before open science was cool. It seems like something that a tenet that many people are adopting now, which I think is great. But back when we first started our Atlas projects, I think it was a pretty novel concept to put all of the data out there before we published on it for others to use. Okay, and I'll talk more about our open science impact here in a second. Okay, so we like to think of our home base here, and certainly where Paul is making the biggest investment in the intramural institutes is here in Seattle. But I think we have our impact globally on the scientific community. So this is just highlighting here, the Institute for Brain Science and Cell Science are here. But through the Frontiers Group, we're actually funding great science at the edges across the country and actually across the globe. Our data is consumed broadly by scientific organizations really around the world. I was just walking by a poster upstairs. If you want to see a lot more detail about all of our data users and how they're consuming the data, please go up to the posters later today and look at that. But it's really since inception, our data has been broadly consumed by both academic, industry. We know we don't require people to register to use the data, but we can resolve URLs and know that every major pharma company has scientists that come access our data, and that's what it's for. It's meant to be consumed. But data isn't the only thing we provide. We provide research tools. So the transgenic mice that we've been creating for our cell types program over the last 12 years have been delivered to JACs as breeding pairs and have been distributed to labs around the country and around the world for the last many years. So 3 of the all-time best sellers of Jackson Labs were built at the Allen Institute. So it's an amazing way we can have impact. Not to be outdone, the cell science team has started releasing a year ago all of their cell lines that they're creating, and you'll hear more about the kinds of things they're doing there. And those are now being distributed globally as well, having additional impact. And finally, I think as a broader community, we try to engage as much as we can. We realize our place in these communities as being a leader. And so we try very hard to be collaborative, to work on standards for the field in any number of different ways. Okay. So with that, I'd like to finish up and conclude. Again, acknowledgments, first of all, to Paul Allen for being the majority funder of all that we do here. It's really an honor to be able to pursue these basic science mission with the kinds of resources that he provides to us. And I'd also like to thank all of the Allen Institute people. Everyone who's an Allen Institute employee, raise your hand. I'm just sort of curious how many outsiders versus insiders. So a good mix of people. So it's a good opportunity to thank all of you as well. And I hope you all enjoy the next day and a half, 2 days as well, to see all the great things that are going on here, because it's a pretty unique place. I think a lot of times we're down and in. It's a stressful time. We're driving really hard, and this is a wonderful time to kind of reflect. It's the end of the year and see all the great work that you're doing. Okay. So with that, thank you.